Hello everyone, welcome in. Oh my god, Samira, Wildpaw, Lumu, Sophie. How are you all? I see you got the squirt bottles out already. You guys get the vibe. And the floppy bag at, oh my god. I will be chuffed to watch Halsin doing his thing. Yes, we will need the squirt bottles for Wildpaw especially, but oh, that's amazing. But welcome in. We are doing something a bit different today. And this is really weird. My camera's up in the left-hand corner again, and so it's like throwing me off. Moisturize me. Let's go. Yeah, we're doing something a bit different today. I'm going to do bring you all through photo mode and some romance poses, specifically for size difference. So we have Halsin and we have Faeryn ready to go. I feel like just look at this size difference. It's extreme. I did it's a Doctor Who reference. Oh, I know that episode. That episode is so weird, but it's stuck in my brain. But yeah, I did some practicing with different poses earlier this week with Faeryn and DU Drow specifically, but he and Halsin are the same size, so I'm going to kind of be doing a repeat of that. I have a list. I literally wrote down a physical list of the poses I'm going to use. And also, okay, so I'm using two mods for this. There's the Claravel's Emotes for Photo Mode mod and the Get a Room Photo Mode Animations mod, both of which are in the mod manager on console, so I'm assuming on PC as well. But highly recommend using those mods for this because it just gives you so many more options with poses and things than the base game photo mode does. I understood that reference. But yeah, so we're gonna just kind of jump straight into it. They are fully clothed for this because, you know, we have to keep them modest. But let's go. Let's get into it. I do have Ren. This is technically one of my Ren playthroughs. So Ren is he's kind of cut off by my camera, but we have him hiding so that he doesn't show up because he is technically the main player character. So I've got him hiding away so that he doesn't just show up in the background in these pictures. That would be hilarious though. I hope you upload this to YouTube too. Yes, I am mainly kind of making this its own like mini stream. This will probably be here for like an hour maybe. Making it its own little mini stream so that I can upload it to YouTube as well. Because yeah, I got requests on YouTube for like size difference specifically and stuff like that. So I was like, yes, I'm going to just do its own stream, be able to like show you guys live, but then also upload it on YouTube, so that everyone can enjoy it forever. Ren lurking in the background, yes! Faeryn's so tiny beside Halsin. I know, she's so small. Okay, but let's get into it. I did turn down the music quite a bit as well because that same song repeating was gonna get stuck in my head, but we love the song, but the song on repeat is just not the vibe for today. Ren thinks they're playing hide and seek. Yes, exactly. That is exactly what he thinks is happening with his 6 intelligence. Halsin is bae, absolutely. Oh my god. Okay, so what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna kind of walk you through the different tabs. I've done this before, but just refresher, anyone who's kind of newer to photo mode, anything like that. This first tab, we've got like the focus character, so where the main like lighting usually ends up. I'm gonna put it on Faeryn for this one just because it kind of works better that way. You can track the character or not. This is like tilt offset, so you can like manually move the camera around. The only one I really used from here is the offset Y. Sometimes like you can, like when you go out, you can go as low as possible, but then like you want to go lower, so you can just like use this and have it go even lower. So that's what I usually end up using that for. I'm actually gonna go ahead and leave that like that. But you can also add like a grid on here if you need it, things like that to kind of help you out. And then on this tab we have the field of view. I start this like in the 20-degree range, and then I'm gonna really zoom it in later, but we need to be able to see them, like to initially position them, so I'll leave it out a little bit for now. I don't usually touch exposure, but you can if you want to. Depth of field is very important. A lot of people end up missing this, but depth of field is what's gonna give us like have the background blur out. So I usually do it manually. You can set it automatically and then put it on whichever character you want it to focus on, but I like to do it manually because I have a lot more like I can do it the way I want, so you can blur it out, and this one is like the strength of it as well, so I kind of usually end up like adjusting both to get the kind of focus that I want, but we're gonna actually turn it off for now just until I get them in the poses that I need them in. This tab is your character tab, so character visibility at the top is going to be important so that we don't have, oh, he's behind my camera, but Gale is standing in the background. So you want to turn off NPCs and enemies. It's going to make any background characters, anyone not in your party, any children and animals who might be in the room, it's going to turn them all off. And not that there's any enemies here, but that's an option too. Yeah, so we've got our characters. You can see Ren is technically listed, but I can't drop him off, so we're just going to ignore him. Got our expressions, our poses, our placement of the characters, so this is all very much like the character tab. On this one, I don't usually use much with this either, but it's a lot of like coloring adjustments and things like that. You can add fun things like vignettes and filters for it if you wanted to, but I do all of my color editing afterwards. So like pretty much the only thing I end up doing is like I'll darken it a little bit like this, like I'll turn down the brightness like 1 or 2 depending on what I need, and just kind of depending on the situation, so it does make it easier to edit afterwards. So I'll go ahead and leave that on -1 actually. And then this, you've got frames, you've got bars if you wanted to make it you know, the widescreen look or the, you know, classic kind of bars on the side, square look. I'm not going to be using those. And then we've got stickers as well, which is a whole thing we could go through, but there's stickers if you want stickers as well. We're not using those today, so I'm not going to go through them. But it is, they are there. There are so many of them as well. Is it weird that I just want to see them do silly dances? Isn't that what we all want though? Just having them, just Halsin just, you know, doing a little silly dance in the living room, why not, you know? Like, just have them dancing together. Foreplay. Exactly. Oh my god, these dances are amazing. There are dances within the modded poses as well. If any of you guys were, you know, I didn't sell you on the modded poses before, there are modded dances too in there. So, Halsin dad dancing. All right, we're gonna set this back to default so I can concentrate. But there you go, you got your Halsin and Faeryn dancing. Okay, so first pose we're gonna start off a little bit more sweet, a little less spicy, just to get into it. But we're gonna use they're gonna be in so many hilarious positions. We're gonna start with Astarion romance pose. Let's see, which one is it? There are so many through here. He's just in the air. Okay, we're gonna use these ones. So to the ground B for Halsin, and I'll be using to the ground A for Faeryn. But we're gonna move them back here, get them in a position I want them to be in. I will say as well, with this, you really want to, we're gonna be using the camera angles to our advantage. There's gonna be, like, technically a lot of clipping, a lot of, like, you know, technically Faeryn is like halfway through Halsin, but as long as you have the right angles, you're not gonna be able to tell. So I would highly recommend kind of figuring out the angle you want first. I'm actually gonna set my field of view closer so we have that the way I want it. Oops. And then see, I gotta move the camera down manually more because it's not letting me go down any further. Because we're inside something. Halsin is so fucking tall, so I'm gonna actually make this go out just a little bit wider. But yeah, definitely use the camera angles to your advantage because there's gonna be a lot of hiding with the clipping to make it look believable. That's what we want. We want it to look believable. We have to have a dancing like this at the Glitter God wedding of the year. Oh, we will absolutely do that. We're gonna have a photo mode episode for that, for like the wedding for the Glitter God and Gale. So it's gonna be a good time. Okay, we've got Halsin pretty much placed, and then Faeryn is going to be. Also, all the photo mode poses, or the modded ones, it's always at the end of this list, so that's why I'm just skipping all the way through, because all the base game ones are at the front, and then the modded ones show up at the end of the list. Okay. She ready. I will adjust the camera as well, because it's going to fully cut off her head, but we'll get there. I think that was too much. And it's kind of hard to get the, ooh, see, it keeps jerking around because I'm like doing it with the toggle, and the toggle sometimes doesn't like to do anything smoothly, so there is that. And it's just a lot of back and forth trying to get the angles correct. Make it look like she's actually sitting in his hands. Okay, hold on. Let's, I'm gonna turn Halsin a bit more, actually. And move out here. Almost there. Their faces are inside each other though, so that's something to look out for. Faeryn needs to go up a little. Papalood, welcome in! Hydrate, thank you so much. When I get hyper-focused, I forget everything else exists, including hydration. Okay. Okay, there we go. So there's no clipping that we can see anyway. There's probably a lot of clipping on the other side, but I will show you what the other side looks like just to kind of show you what I mean when we're just like hiding all the clipping. But we're gonna change their facial expressions so that they look like they like each other. So we want them to look like they like each other, you know? Okay, and then we're gonna go back to depth of field. Oops, hold on, let me reset this. So cute, I know, I love it so much. We're starting off sweet. We'll get spicier in a minute. Okay. Back it up just a little bit, actually. Need to adjust it one more time. Just to make sure we don't want them blurred out when they aren't supposed to be. But, like, the edges are kind of blurred. All nice. Okay, so there's the first one. Very cute, very sweet. I am going to be screenshotting these as we go as well. Lauren, welcome in! I'm going to be screenshotting these as we go so that I can actually like post them later. And since they're dressed, most of them will fly on Instagram for the most part. Maybe not most of them. Tumblr definitely, but Instagram might still find it too spicy. We'll find out. This is half art and half science. I love that. I'm like catching up on chat here. But yeah, no, this is definitely, it literally is like, it is an art, but it is also very much science, because it's like just trying to get it just right. But okay, so let me show you now that we got that shot. I'm going to show you what it looks like on this side. Let's actually see if it lines up well. It might. Okay, this one actually does line up pretty well. Halsin's not actually grabbing her ass though, so there's that. But I will say this one turned out like there's not a lot of clipping like most of the poses are going to have. So this one's pretty easy to work with. It's a nice start. A gentleman greets his niece, caption for safety. Why does that make it creepier though? Imagine Halsin and a halfling. Oh my god, that's a size difference. I don't know if I could take on that kind of size difference. I will try. I would try for you guys if you really wanted me to, or if somebody commissioned me to do it. But I actually like this shot as well. Hold on, let me move Halsin a bit. Let's see if we can make this look a little more like he's holding her properly. Because I actually like this angle too. Kinda, sorta? Kinda, sorta. I'm gonna capture that one too. Why not? Okay, so that's the first one. I'm gonna try not to make you guys too sick by spinning around too many times. Gonna back this out a little bit just so it's easier. Also gonna turn off depth of field for the moment. Okay, so that was the first one. Next one, we're getting into some spicy ones. We're gonna do... Okay, so this is not from a specific romance scene in particular. This is from the, these are gonna be from the Claravel's Emotes mod specifically. It creeps me out if I leave their facial expressions on. I have to put them back to default when I'm moving them around. But let's start with Faeryn. She's gonna be on the bottom. We're gonna go with the romance poses. I'm gonna use or no, not romance, not for her. This is gonna be the, was it laying down poses. Sprawled on stomach. We're gonna use this pose in particular. I'll get closer in a second as well, just trying to get some of the base positioning down. Okay. The eye contact is perfect lineup. Yeah, that's another thing as well. That's actually a great point to bring up, is like sometimes you have to like kind of move them around a bit. Like, so technically if you were looking at them at any other angle, maybe they're not lined up, but from the angle you have set that you want to take your photo in, if they look like they're looking at each other, that is like that's perfect, because you want it to look like they're not just like posing, but they're actually interacting. So that's something too that's that changes it a lot and makes it convincing. We're gonna use top escalate in the romance poses. I need to turn him around. This is where it gets spicy. But this is another one that there's gonna be technically quite a lot of clipping. This one in particular. So we're gonna hide it. Okay, let me get closer in. And again, like, you can just move the camera to get closer in. I personally like doing the field of view because it also adds like a type of depth that I like. So we're gonna go at 10. Get closer. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting off their legs on the left-hand side because their legs are all clipping into each other, and like we can alter it to an extent, but not that much. They will still be clipping no matter what, pretty much. Raise him up there because his hand was too far down into the floor. Actually, okay, we're gonna hide his hand by like some of these angles, using angles, because because his legs were too obviously up in the background, and I didn't like that. So we're gonna position it like that. Let me turn the depth of field back on. A gentleman aids his niece, who alas has tumbled. Oh my god. Nothing untoward happening here, just Halsin demonstrating druid wrestling moves. Exactly. Nothing untoward at all. This is completely innocent. Nope, a little bit further out. There we go. And I don't actually need to for this one. Honestly, nobody's gonna be looking at his hand clipping through the floor. On this one, I have the strength turned all the way up. I don't even need that because we're so close in. Like, the strength is great on the blur on its own. Okay, so facial expressions. The ones I go to a lot, let me do Faeryn's first. I use the asleep ones, which sounds creepy in theory, but they are great for the facial expressions that we want for this kind of thing. So I tend to use the relaxed, the happy, and the troubled. The troubled is for when it gets more intense. But I'm gonna have Faeryn with just the relaxed face right now. You can't even really see her face. And for Halsin, we could technically kind of leave him default. I feel like maybe, let's do the neutral happy. So it's just like very subtly happy. So it's not quite so deadpan default, but, okay, yeah, so that's the next one. Sometimes, you know what I'm actually gonna do before I take this one, I'm gonna turn the brightness back up. That is pretty extreme with the brightness, like, and the shadows and everything. I'm gonna turn it back up so that when I edit it afterwards, the shadows on, like, under his body and on his face aren't quite so hard to get rid of. I'm gonna take that one, but that is another tip as well, like, kind of watch that kind of thing, because if you do any post-editing, sometimes the shadows are a bit extreme. These titles are like those funfair what the butler saw machines also seen in BioShock. I don't know if I know what you're talking about, but yeah, I feel like I agree either way. And then, okay, we have variations of this one as well, though. I'm going to get him in closer here, and we're going to start readjusting them. And sometimes I'd have to do it a bit blind, just because, like, if they're behind the settings, just because I want to try to keep the angle I need. This one can get tricky because of his hand there, but if I can get the angle correct, it can kind of look like he's kind of like holding her arm a little bit, but it does take, oh, that's the wrong direction. It does take some back and forth with the placement. I'm actually gonna put him down into the floor a little bit, just a little bit. Again, sometimes it's fine to have clipping because nobody's gonna pay attention to particular clipping over others. It's like they're not really looking at the fact that his arm is a little bit into the rug. You know what I mean? Okay, hold on. Let's rearrange this. Turn off the depth of field so we can see what we're doing. Let's see. It's a little bit too far down though. And this one does get tricky, I will say, because it's like you want to have it be a believable angle where everything lines up, but also not have a ton of clipping. I do this stuff in judo, it's fine. Yeah, he's tackled her, you know, they're wrestling. This is a healthy wrestling match. Nothing untoward is happening. Okay, but I'm not liking the placement. Hold on. This is where it gets very tricky because I want certain parts to be lined up. Let's try turning it back this way, actually. There's also, there does come a time where, also I think it's looking slightly different because they're wearing clothing. I did this with them without clothing, not with them, but with Faeryn and Drow without clothing before. So it does make a difference. But anyway, like I swear there's sometimes I will get a pose so good and then I'll try to recreate it and I cannot recreate it. And that is an issue, but we work with it. Okay, I want his hand there. But they're not properly lining up the way I would really like them. Well, actually, yeah, no, from this angle they do. But this is one of those tricky ones, especially with the big body type, because with the littler body type, it actually, like with Astarion's body type, for instance, it works a lot better. But I feel like this works well enough. And again, if they were just like, you know, skin on skin, it's like you can't, there's not as much of a difference between their coloring like that, so it looks like they're more lined up than they are. I think it works really well. Thank you. So if we're gonna change their facial expressions, this is where I start using these ones. I'm gonna do that and that. I feel like Halsin, can I move him up? No. Okay, we're gonna just go with this then. But this also gives you the general idea of what I'm trying to do here. But again, sometimes I'm like, I'll do a pose once and then it doesn't work out again. But even with it like this angle so that you can't really see their legs because their feet are not like lined up, they're like all clipping through each other. So we're just gonna leave it like this. This kind of like sort of centered. Their top parts are centered anyway. Does it clip less with skin? Yeah, there is less clipping with skin. Also, you can see his hair is going through her shoulder, but that's like something as well that's like, if you have like hair hanging down, that's gonna clip a lot, stuff like that. But when they don't have clothing in the way, I did put them in tight clothing to try to negate some of it, but yeah, when there's no clothing to get in the way, it is a lot easier to line them up. Definitely. Okay, so that was the second pose. I'm gonna move on to, we've got some shadow heart ones to do, which I really like. So let's go ahead and back it out again. Oops. Whee! Nothing untoward is happening, I promise. We're gonna go shadow heart. She has so many of them because it includes a lot of the lip poses as well. Okay, we're gonna use this one. I gotta reset their faces. I gotta do it every time, it freaks me out. And this is another one that you can do quite a few poses with, make use of, and it works out great. And Faeryn is going to do the same shadow heart, and then, but she's gonna be on top. Oh, her hair disappeared. That's a thing. That's horrifying, but that is a thing. Her hair will disappear, and I've had that happen. It's not just her. I've had that happen with certain body types. Their hair will disappear for a second. Sometimes when you're scrolling through the poses, and I'm just like, all right, that's horrifying. But anyway, let's see. These are a lot easier to line up. Bald Gate 3, exactly. It's like, who needs that mod? Did I do it like, I did it like this, that's right. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna make sure her arm goes above his shoulder there so it's not clipping through. It also makes it look like he's holding her hips properly. Let's set this again. And again, we're gonna adjust her a little bit to make sure she's actually, it looks like she's looking at him. His feet are doing a funny thing, so I'm trying to make sure his feet are not in the shot. I could technically move them down as well. Let me do that a little bit so that, let's see, yeah, this way, so that we get more of the fireplace in the background behind them. I love a good silhouette. Okay, yeah, that's nice. Halsin is going to have his smile again. And I'm gonna use the asleep happy for Faeryn because you can't actually see her eyes, so it just looks like she's smiling softly. Okay, making sure she's not through the floor there. Add some depth of field. And we're gonna be using this for a few different poses as well. This is just the first one. There we go, actually, that looks really good. Did I need to put the brightness back down? Nope, I do not. Cool, all right, there's the second one. They look beautiful. They look stunning. They look in love. And that's what we want. We want them to look in love. But I'm gonna do a few different ones as well. So for Faeryn, I'm going to, oh, we can make them kiss, actually. Let's make them kiss. That's the next one we're gonna do here. I need to move her back though. This is where it starts to get a little tricky because you have to line up their lips. Let's see. First time chat, welcome in. So actually, let me leave her here and see if I can, what happens when I move Halsin. I need to know where his head's gonna be. Okay. And again, like it's slightly behind the menu, the options, but I'm kind of used to doing it a little bit blind just to get them lined up enough. His hand is clipping through. Let's see. I think I can actually, if I turn him a bit, it really is a science, like for real. Oh yeah, turning him actually helps a lot. Ah, his hand keeps clipping into her body, which I don't want, so let me try moving her a little bit again. I'm gonna give him the kissy face. Actually, I could give them both the kissy face, I think. Sometimes having them both have the kissy face is too much. There's like too much lips going on. But I think it'll, yeah, it's gonna work good for this though. Oh, we're so close here. Actually, if I don't have her in a kissy face, I might be able to, oops, lower her a little bit. Let's see. Her nose just goes through his lips. Let's actually try this. Ah, it's so hard. It's so hard to get the lineup correct. but this is honestly really close. If we back it out a little bit as well. I feel like that's convincing. And again, you can keep working with it to try to get your specific characters lined up as much as possible. But that's a pretty good that's a pretty good lineup, if I do say so myself. Like alignment. So we'll mess with the depth of field again. Make sure they're actually in focus here. His feet are doing such a weird thing at the base there, so I'm like just trying to just trying to cut them off, you know? We don't need feet. Feet are not the focus of this one. And the lighting works so well too. Exactly. I love the like silhouette of the fireplace and everything. It makes for some really good coloring. Okay, so now we can also do let me actually change Faeryn's expression back to something else. We can do like a sexy, like just sitting up, posing for him kind of thing. Let's do an action one. And I should go straight to the end for this one, no matter what Faeryn's doing on top, because it's acting like the actual pose, like I think it's a Sharon Shadowheart thing, but she like bites the other person's lip, I guess. But I just go straight for the last pose in the lineup on that, and it works really well because it just looks like his hands are on her thighs. We'll need to realign them a little bit. Gonna make him happy. Lower her a little bit because she's suddenly too high off the ground. And back her up just a little so it looks like his hands are on her thighs. I know it's out of focus. I'm gonna fix that as well in a second. There we go. There's another one. Actually, let me move it up. Yeah, just a little bit. It was a little bit too low for my liking. But there's another one. In fairness, I think feet do that. We just maybe don't see them normally. That's kind of true. It's so often in the mocap for whatever reason, like their feet are like doing the weirdest shit, and I'm just like, is that like, is that accurate? And then I also like to do a variation, like obviously we can just do like this where they're just looking at each other. We can move her forward a little bit. There we go. So his hands are on her thighs, and I love especially like maybe it's hard to see on. I think you can see it okay though. The way his thumb on his right hand is on her thigh. The lineup is just so good. The alignment of it, I love it when that happens, and it just looks so like real, you know, and like tangible, like they're actually like have physical contact. So good. So I'm gonna capture that one as well. Okay, and those were the Shadowheart poses. Now we're gonna move on to some Gale. Got a little bit of Gale. We have his they literally titled it normie sex poses. So it's from the scene where you have like a physical romance scene with him instead of like the in the stars scene. So let's back it back out again so I can see what I'm doing. Oops. Poor Gale. And this one is a bit hard to work with, I will say, because Faeryn's gonna be on the bottom for this one, because it is like not bugged, it's just it puts them in a weird spot. Come back. If they also, that's a tip for you, if they disappear off screen for whatever reason, sometimes just like changing their placement real quick will pop them back where they're supposed to be. But anyway, so I'll show you what I mean here in a second. It's just kind of hard to work with because rotating them into a position you want them to be in, like they move kind of weird. So we're not going to be able to have them in front of the fireplace for this one in particular, because that would take way too much work to try to get it to line up correctly. Where'd it go? Did I miss it? Did I actually? Where'd it go? Oh yeah, it's right here. Okay, I can't remember which one is which either. That happens a lot. Yeah, it's so weird. It's like it puts them in the, excuse me. See, like it, oops. It like puts them in the weirdest spots. So you're like, where did you go? Okay, so Faeryn's gonna be on the bottom. So this is the one I want for this. Yeah, see, and then I rotate her and she ends up like in the middle of the living room for some reason. We're gonna go ahead and put her in the final position there. Put her down on the floor. And then put her, I'm gonna like try to just, I'm gonna probably center them in the living room. I need to do, see, and like the rotation, it's supposed to just rotate them like on an axis, like on a point. But it's like, instead it's rotating them in like a big swinging motion, which makes it very interesting to try to work with, but we're gonna do our best. We just won't be able to have the fireplace in the background for this one. I'm gonna move Halsin into the top position and see if I can get them lined up. There's also a sense of movement in so many of these static poses that makes them so good. Exactly. And it's like, sometimes the ones that like technically line up are actually better, like to, where did Halsin go? He's over here. So like if I had it on the first, like on this play pose, like, so if I had it on the first one for both of them, sometimes it's actually better if you like, you choose like one of the other ones and it still like lines up in a way that's like very unique. Like you can still make it line up and look really good instead of just like sticking with what was planned and having them both on that first position or things like that. But it's like, I just love the amount of movement you get from these. Oh, Halsin, we need you way over here, dear. Let's see what happens when we rotate him. Whee! Rotate. Oh, no, the other way. Okay, I will probably need to move Faeryn. Yeah, I'm gonna need to move Faeryn up a little bit. Because I am not. This is these get so funny. Does this photo mode mod have that Astarion graveyard scene poses? I can show you. There's the bottom part of it. That's the thing. There's Tav's part, but Astarion's part isn't in there, and it's not in the Astarion romance poses. The one that's labeled Astarion romance. So I can show you which one it is. But yeah, the leg hook, the top, like his part of it is not listed for some reason. It's not a part of the mods, which is kind of annoying because I want it. I'm like, I need the leg hook for science and reasons. Oops, we're in the floor. Okay, we're gonna start from this side. Let me start getting the camera angles. I know their like faces are fully clipping through each other right now, but we're gonna fix that. We're gonna make it look nice. There we go. I think. Oh, his nose is in her face though. Okay. And see, that's something too. Sometimes, you know, if a character's got a big nose, I think his nose is actually bigger than DU Drow's was. Because like I said, I was experimenting with DU Drow, so I feel like DU Drow had a smaller nose. Larian, our demands are few, not really, but leg hook, please. Exactly, I'm like, please give us the leg hook. Like, why is that angle just not in the game itself, you know? Okay, so Faeryn's facial expression, we're gonna have her do the asleep but happy. Halsin can just be happy, actually. I think that's gonna work, at least for this angle. Just make sure. I was like, wait, which character am I on? Before I move anything, which character am I on? No, that doesn't actually work. I was gonna try to adjust it a little bit more, but he's clipping through her elbow here. Uh-oh, hold on. I'm trying to fix this. Again, clothing getting in the way. It's actually easier if there is no clothing involved. Just saying. Okay, I feel like that looks like they're lined up. That looks like they're about to go in for a kiss. And the clipping isn't too bad. It would be better without clothes. If Larian was any other game dev, they'd release a leg hook DLC for $30. I know, right? Like, for real. That's why I'm like, you know what? Larian has given us so much, all for free. And I am just, you know, if they're not going to give us a leg hook, I will find people who will mod it for me. Which I did. And I now have a clip both clothed and unclothed of Faeryn and Astarion having the leg hook because the person that modded it for me was amazing. So, anyway. Now we're gonna leave the lighting. Okay, yeah, so this is, oh, actually, hold on, no. I wanna move it a little bit more this way. Again, the legs tend to clip a lot, so I tend to try to not show legs as much as possible, or do weird things like his leg is like his foot is dangling, he's on his knee way too much kind of thing. So I just try to just, you know, clip a little bit of that off. Doesn't need to be in the shot. I'm gonna adjust that. Nice. And this one we're gonna get a couple angles with as well, so I'm gonna swing around this side. Sorry for anyone who gets motion sick. And we're gonna do it from this side as well. Ugh, I'm making myself motion sick. Because it's cute from this side too, but we do need to make a few adjustments because they are clipping through each other. Faeryn's hand is in his face. I will defend Larian with my heart always. Absolutely, yeah, that's why, like, some people get so angry at them for, like, the random, most, like, just bullshit things, and I'm just like, have you seen the stunning game they gave us? Have you seen all the things that they have altered just for us? You know, like, all the improvements they've made for free for us. Like, come on. Stop it. Stop it. Get some help. Okay. Okay. Is he? It's like either his hand's going to be a little bit clipped into the floor or a little bit above the floor, but I feel like the a little bit above the floor is fine. That hip lineup though. Let me back this up a little bit because there is a piece of furniture in the way. I love too that they're literally just doing this in the middle of the living room that everyone comes to enjoy the camping time in. They're just in the middle of the room, but it works great for this because you get the fireplace in the background. There's a lot of room to move them around without things getting in the way. Nice. It's like I want to make it darker, but the shadows are too shadowy, so I will do that after. So I like that. There's another one. Don't get me wrong, I am very satisfied, just not the best at mods. Yeah, no, I totally get you. Like, mods took a lot of time for me to learn as well, and I'm still figuring them out, but I'm a lot more comfortable with them than I used to be. We'll say that. The one thing about large male body type is their elbow wrinkles are in an odd place. I feel like some of the, like, arms in general, like, I mean, look at his wrist. Like, that's one thing I feel like was not quite right on these, on the body models and stuff, is, like, things like that, like the wrists, the way they bend weird, and on Faeryn's body type, I think the upper arm is a bit too long. Like, there's something off about the arms, and there's zero muscle definition, which annoys me because I need her to have definition. But yeah, stuff like the elbow wrinkles, like it's just random little things like that where I'm like, it's not perfect, you know, but we get what we get. Okay, so those were the Gale ones. I have one left. right? Did I do everything else? Yeah. Okay, I have one left. It is, I gotta actually drop out of photo mode to get them in the spot for it because I need them to be, actually I'm gonna move Faeryn first. Halsin likes to not stay put, so I'm gonna move Faeryn first. Oh, hey, Aelin. Hey, Isabel. Don't mind us. We're going to use this bed for it. This is one that's going to look like it's going to be spicy, and then it's just going to actually be really sweet, the angle I put on it, because I can't get it to actually work with these body types. Like, I had a plan. Like, a kneeling over Halsin's lap kind of plan, but it just didn't work because Halsin is just too big. There literally wasn't a kneeling pose where Faeryn's legs were wide enough for Halsin's lap, so I gave up, and instead we're gonna do something sweet. Imagine Larian making a game in Unreal Engine 5, dude, that would be insane. That would be so cool. Like how stunning these characters are now, like imagine them in Unreal Engine, like oh my god. Okay, let's reset our things here. I'm gonna make sure the NPCs are not showing before I forget. Aelin and Isabel just hanging out in the background. It's fine. I'll turn that off for the moment. Halsin is going to be, we're going to be using some Karlach poses for this one. Oh, and their legs are going to be doing weird things because of the ladder next to the bed there, the step stool, whatever that is. We're going to be using date sex. But I'm going to use B. So he's sitting on the bed. Like Witcher 4 level graphics and character design. Yeah, that would be wild. I'm so excited for Witcher 4. I have not played Witcher 3. I think some of you know that, but I've watched the whole game because my partner played it. Spencer played it. Has played it multiple times. So I know the whole game and everything, and I'm obsessed with Geralt. I've just never played it myself. And that is my bad, but you see how wide his stance is here? I literally couldn't get Faeryn to fit over properly, but we're gonna do something cute anyway. Witcher 4 though, I'm very excited for. I will absolutely be playing that, and I will be streaming that if possible. I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't be possible, so I have plans to stream it, which will be great. I might even stream Witcher 3. It kind of depends. Maybe I'll stream that as well. Maybe it's like kind of a chill game, because I feel like it is kind of a chill game. So that could be fun. Turn around. Okay, we're gonna use this one. So what we're doing here, woohoo, they are so far away. We're gonna make it look cute, don't worry, I have a plan. I love The Witcher, never played yet, I need to play. Yeah, exactly, see, exactly. It's like, it's just one of those things. It's also kind of getting to the point where it's technically an older game, you know? So it's just like, sometimes when things start getting older and you know, and I wasn't like obsessed with it when it first came out, obviously, like, I don't care how old this game is, I'm gonna play it forever. Like Baldur's Gate. But with The Witcher, I'm like, I don't know, some of the mechanics might be a little tricky, like, we'll have to play around with it and see, but definitely excited for Witcher 4, especially. Ooh, don't want her hand through his face. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, this is what I was trying to do, I think. I think. I'm not sure, entirely sure. Okay, we're gonna get this in a lot closer. Ooh. Have Halsin look like he likes her, you know? Let's see. Maybe just the content, the soft smile. Again, you can't see Faeryn's eyes, so I'm gonna have her do the asleep happy, because I like the way it shapes her mouth, but technically her eyes are closed, but you can't see her eyes, so you don't know. You don't know that her eyes are closed. Down a little bit. Hold on, let me actually move Halsin just a little bit. I feel like. There we go. There we go. Okay, I was trying to get that eye, the connection, the eye connection there. The eye line. You see how focused I get on this though? Daniel, my partner, played and I watched it, but I had to forget the history to have fun. Oh no! Wait, on Witcher 3? Yeah, no, I have so many memories with watching my partner play Witcher 3. It's so good. Okay, I'm like undecided on the focus here. I think that is good. I'm being a perfectionist. There we go. That's so cute! And then we have that one as well. And you can't even tell that she's basically just standing in the bed for this. I know, right? Isn't it so cute? Oh my god. Yeah, I know, I love this one. Yeah, so that was the last pose I had as well. So I'm pretty much, that was kind of the tutorial. Hopefully y'all found it helpful. But yeah, like, I highly recommend downloading those mods and playing around with them. Oh, Wildpot, thank you for the bits! Really appreciate it. Yeah, those mods are so much fun, have so many good poses to play around with, and it is very much possible to do these like with a big body type as well. I didn't show all of the clipping. I kept forgetting to actually show the clipping on the other side from how I had them angled. Like, I could do it right now actually on this one. I meant to do that more often to kind of show that, like, it doesn't have to be perfect, you know? Like, look at this. They're in the air. Hold on, I'm gonna make myself sick if I do that. I'm gonna show the imperfections. She's standing like on the edge of the bed right now. They are like, her hand is through his head on this side because it's technically supposed to be on Karlach's shoulder. But yeah, his hands aren't even touching her waist. But from this side, it looks great. They look in love. They look like they're actually like, you know, making that like that eye contact, that really good eye contact and everything. So yeah, just play around with it. It's very possible to do with all kinds of different body types. The only thing I will say is sometimes with these modded poses, the any tails, so like on tieflings or dragonborn, things like that, the modded poses do not account for tails. So the tail, you'll need to get a little bit creative with tails in particular, because they will just stand straight out. Unlike the base game poses, which actually make them like the tail will like curl around or like do like things, you know, look more natural. The modded poses don't do that. So that is something you'll need to work around a little bit as well. But yeah, it's a good time. Well, we have the uncensored versions on Patreon. There is the uncensored, I could do an uncensored version for sure. I was gonna say that basically all these shots I just got, there is an uncensored version on Patreon of Faeryn and DU Drow. So all the same poses, just with DU Drow instead of Halsin. But if y'all really want to see the Halsin and Faeryn uncensored, I can absolutely post it on, or do that, like do a whole set that way and post them on Patreon. But yeah, highly recommend subscribing to my Patreon because I post a lot of fun, spicy things over there. I also have, like, if you're interested in commissioning me to do a set like this for you, for your Tav and their romance partner, but you know, spicy, uncensored. I do commissions as well, so feel free to DM me on Instagram if you're interested in that. Let me drop my Patreon here in the chat. There's my Patreon. I'll go ahead and post my Linktree as well. So yeah, so I highly recommend checking out my Patreon. It's not expensive to subscribe there. I have a tier as low as $3, and it's a good time. I keep my feral gremlins fed over there. Yeah, who knew that all that clipping was happening? Exactly, and that's the thing. That's why camera angles and like a vision of how you kind of want it to be is so important. Because if I was to literally like be like looking all around them and be like, oh, but there's clipping here and there's clipping there, like you drive yourself crazy because it is just not gonna fully line up. You have to have like a vision in mind and be like, okay, this is the angle I want. How can I make it look like they're not clipping and they're actually interacting and having that physical connection? But yeah, thank you all so much for being here. This was a lot of fun. Just a short little stream today, but I will be uploading this to YouTube probably tomorrow. I'll be uploading it pretty fast since it's its own contained thing outside of like one of my playthrough like, you know, story streams that I usually have going. But yeah. Thank you all so much. I will see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time to get back into our Romancing the Wizard playthrough. I hope to see you all then. Bye, guys!